past few months, like I said, I've met all these candidates. I met recently, about a month ago, Craig James, and I've been speaking with him on a personal level. I personally feel that this gentleman has a super future in Texas politics. I personally feel very, very good about his conservative credentials. I feel very, very honored to be a friend of his. I feel very, very honored that he has allowed me to associate myself with him. And we wanted to, just like we've given Dewhurst a chance, and I don't know how many of you heard John Bell the other day. He sent me a note and said that Dewhurst apparently was at USAA, and that somebody asked him how he was reaching out to the Tea Parties in the state. And Dewhurst said, well, he knows George Rodriguez. He said that from the podium. So I don't know if that was good or bad, but you know, out of all the Tea Parties that have invited him to speak, you know, he's passed on all of them except for us. He's met with us, but I guess he feels that that was good enough. So I don't know. On the other hand, you've got somebody like Craig James, who specifically wanted to come out and reach out to the Tea Parties, and wanted to reach out to the San Antonio Tea Party specifically, and to conservatives here locally. So without having any further ado, without saying any more, let me turn the time over to a gentleman who has become a very, very good friend, and who I really feel has a future in Texas politics, as well as I think would make a damn good senator. So, thank you.
Very nice of you to say that. Thank you all very much for giving me a chance here on Saturday morning to visit with you. And you know, when you meet people and you know it, I've been blessed by knowing when people are real, and I get a chance to feel their heart. And when I first met you, I knew your heart was for our country and for people. And you know, so I am honored. Thank you very much. And congratulations on what all you've done. It's been phenomenal. I'll tell you just a little bit about who I am and what I stand for, and then if there are any questions, I'd be more than happy to answer them. Three things that I always talk about is I'm running. And that is God, family is family, and the Constitution is the Constitution. My faith is the most important thing to me. My goal in life is that when I meet my Maker, He says, well done, my good and faithful servant. That's what I strive for. My goal in life isn't to become a United States Senator, but to make a difference and use the experiences that I've been through in my life to represent us, we the people, you and I, bottom line. My family has been so important to me as well. I met my high school sweetheart when I was 15 years old, dated her for 7 years, and I always tell the story, I did my best sales job when I was 15 because she was 16 years old. So I had to convince her to go out with this young punk. Then I had to convince her to pick me up because she had a driver's license and I didn't. So we hit it off and we did very well. We've been married for 29 years. She's my soulmate and my best friend. I have 4 kids, ages 21, 24, 26, and 28. So I've been through that phase of my life. My dad died about 3 years ago, and a man gave me a book by Buford, a man named Buford. It's called Halftime. And it talks about going from having success to having significance. And here I am, I'm 51 years old, and I thought, wow, this book was talking to me, and it was a changing moment for me when my dad passed away. Now I'm going to back up a little bit now, and I'm going to tell you where I come from. Many people know me as a football guy. I played in the NFL, I played in the Super Bowl, I played in the Pro Bowl. I never dreamed I'd be an NFL player. That was every day a dream come true for me. I'm proud of that. I've been a broadcaster for 20 plus years on ABC and ESPN predominantly, covering college football, and I'm proud of that too. But what most people don't know is where I've come from. You know, they assume that I grew up with a silver spoon. My parents divorced when I was in 1st grade. Life started for me. Real Street began. I came home in 3rd grade and I saw the yellow piece of paper on the apartment door that said eviction notice. So when Mom got home and told me we got to move because I can't make rent, I'll never forget that day. And it's important for me now to share that with you because I want you to know what makes me tick. I ate a lot of mayonnaise-only sandwiches. And I didn't do without, but I had my fair share of those. And America gave me a chance to do what I've done with my life. That's why I love the Constitution. That's why I'm passionate about preserving what we have and running, because I want to preserve the things that made America great. Period. I don't care about being a senator. I care about being in a position where I can vote and support the Ten Commandments and the Constitution. The pillars of things that made this country great. That's why I'm running. When I take a stand and make a position on something, it's not with the mindset of, will I get another vote, will I get reelected? We need to have people who want to go up there not to be someone, but to do the work of we the people. And I don't know why the Lord pressed this on my heart a couple of years so strongly, but He did. I have never had a passion for anything, not my sports, not my ranching, not my real estate development company, not my broadcasting business, like this. I was reading, I bought a Time magazine coming on the plane here this morning, and it was talking about the Bill of, the Declaration of Independence, and it was talking about the beginning of our country, and it talked about the Declaration of Independence being the birth certificate to the pursuit of life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. We are losing that. I'll summarize kind of where I think we've come in this, as I've been campaigning now for months. I think this country is at a point where 50% are looking to the government for direction and assistance. The other 50% still believe in the Constitution and free markets, which is what I'm huge on, okay? We have to do a phenomenal job of educating people, guys. On the other side, why limited government, low taxes, and free markets work? Because if we don't, we're going to lose our country. And if we lose this election, we've got to support Mitt Romney. I was a Rick Santorum guy. I was Rick Perry before that. But we need a conservative president. We need someone other than Barack Obama in here. You know?
Yeah.
That's a no-brainer, isn't it? And when I was on that radio show a while ago, and I talked about those things that I did about Agenda 21, about the Second Amendment. You know, I'm a big gun rights holder. I don't want to have to send my guns and firearms into the government one of these days. People think, well, you're being extreme. You better be extreme on the front end. Because if we're not extreme on the front end, and they do enact these things and start taking from us, we're in trouble. So, what do I believe in? I'll hit you quickly with these things. I am huge on education. And because in order for us to get out of the pickle we're in this country, we got to educate our children. We have to prepare them to be personally responsible so they can go out and provide for themselves and better our country. I would, as a senator, abolish the Department of Education, and I would leave all money in local officials' hands to educate the kids. And you know why? Here's why that works. It's morally the right thing to do, but we have to stop expecting every kid in high school to want to go to college. Not practical nor needed, right? So, and let's take and introduce in high schools, let the local officials decide what's the best skill set that they want. Life skills development. It's admirable and okay for bricklayers, electricians, plumbers, culinary chefs, EMTs, nurses. There are tons of skill sets that this country needs that we don't have right now. So let's stop that massive dropout rate. Let's prepare these kids to be personally responsible. Economically, the country grows if we do this because our manufacturers need a labor force that are very good paying jobs to be able to fill those opportunities, which grows the big piece of the pie for us in this global economy that we're trying to be a part of, right? All right, you heard me say on the radio, I get rid of the EPA, that the EPA wants to harm us, wants to shut us down. And here in Texas, we have our environmental protections. We'll take care of our own lizards and our own issues. We're going to take care of the fracking. We're not going to pollute our waters. That's insane to think that in Texas we want to harm our own environment. But that's where I get into this Agenda 21 thing. I'm one of the state's biggest hay producers. And up until last year with the drought and wildfires, I talk about a whipping in business. But they were talking about, you know, regulating dust particles coming from the back of hay balers, right?
Yeah.
So I told this to some of my haymakers, the guys that work for me. They said, Mr. James, you telling me we're going to have to count dust particles back there? I said, no, guys, I think we'll get away with it for a while. But that's the kind of insanity. Look, I'm all about getting the government out of the way and allowing people to prosper. I would get rid of the IRS. I'd go to a flat tax of somewhere between 15 and 17%. We need to get the other half who are paying nothing in to participate.
Right. Yeah.
Right? Which I and I think that's healthy for our country. Here's what I mean. I want to represent we the people. I want to preserve the American spirit. At the end of the day, that's what's made this country great. The ability for men and women to go and do whatever they want to do. and to satisfy that drive they have inside. It's not been built on big, massive policy paperworks and big documents. It's freedom and opportunity. I'm going to unleash that. You can't unleash that if you've got mandates and regulations. I know the last 3 years, George, that I've been in the business, it's been hard. We have really suffered. And so all the folks who used to do jobs and things for me, I can't take a risk right now, the uncertainty. So, as again, a person from Real Street, I get uncertainty. If I'm drafting policy, I'll understand when I'm drafting something, how it's impacting Real Street. I can't understand how someone who's never been on Real Street can go draft policy impacting us as business owners. So that to me is rather, that's common sense. So in a nutshell, I would absolutely do everything I can to privatize all of these agencies that are going on out there. Let's get them out of the taxpayers' hands. Let's get it in the free markets to where the private citizens still provide the service, but if they make a mistake, we as taxpayers aren't bailing them out. We're not footing the bill for the GSA and the hundreds of thousands of dollars they wasted in Las Vegas. If we're business owners here and that's our service that we're providing, we're not going to go blow that money. So this country, I heard Ronald Reagan speak in 1980, and I was in college at SMU. My girlfriend, we went to listen, and he talked about limited government, and he talked about low taxes, and he talked about freedom and opportunity, and he talked about defending and supporting our military, and it wrote me in, and I'm so glad. I had no clue what I was hearing that day, and the importance it was going to have in my life, and now I get it. I was with Wounded Warriors, a big project yesterday in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, and we were honoring them. And I said to them, I can rest assured, and I had these campaign boots, it's a new thing that they've started, and they were on, these boots. And I said, I will put these boots on my desk in the Senate chamber as a reminder of the commitment that I've made to you all, past, present, and the future, to defend you all who are defending us. We have 1.1 million disabled veterans in this country under the age of 55. We have 50,000 disabled veterans since 2002. But here we are as a country, we're not wanting to support and take care of those and help those people who put their lives on the line. To me, that's not common sense. That's not right. So, anyway, I think you get a feel for where I come from and what I am. Where am I on this race? Okay, let me kind of tell you what I think is happening here. If you follow the Deb Fischer victory that she had a few days ago in Nebraska, she was a last place in the polling candidate. And she had this monumental victory. And that was because the people at the top, the two top folks, were just spending millions bashing each other. And so, not by me, but by the writers and the bloggers and the tweeters and all that stuff, they said Craig James is the Deb Fischer of Texas. Because I've not been talking about anything but what I believe in and how I'm going to help move our country forward. I've not gotten in the ditch and thrown the mud. And so people are tired of that. We can't have more politics as the same old stuff. Tell me what you're going to do. Be positive. Let me know what you've got.
Yep.
And so I'm prayerful, and I am a believer, and I have been challenged more than any of the other candidates about my faith. I've told people faith is the core of who I am. It's my backbone. My moral fiber comes from that. But I'm not judgmental, nor do I discriminate. And I don't want to be America's Sunday school teacher. But we are in this country losing the moral fiber of this country. Absolutely. And so character, honesty, and integrity still matter. But I believe this. I'm prayerful that we're going to have a quail storm. And there's an old biblical deal when Moses promised meat, and they had a quail-mageddon, and a quail storm came, and they filled all these deals. But it's going to have to be something that the Lord provides for me to win. But I have confidence. I got in this race because I know the Lord put me there. And I have got the faith the size of a mustard seed can move a mountain. And so what I'm asking you all is, if you believe in what I'm saying, I've got a website, Texans for Craig James. You got the brochures. Please take the time, go study me up, ask the questions right now, whatever you have to do to get comfortable. And if you believe in me, I need your help. I'm beyond the money part. We're down now to 10 days of voting. I need the vote, and I need the sphere of influence. So share it with your friends and your family and your neighbors, and please get out and vote. That's how this is going to happen. And I'll just promise you this, that if you do elect me as your representative, that I will go represent us, we the people. I don't care about being someone. I'm confident in who I am. I want to go do the work of us. And so that's why I'm running.